Hey guys, it's Charles Osborne here with the International Wingfoiling Organization. And today we're going to be bringing you a video that has been requested by the community, which is something a little bit more advanced in how to do a tack. So you can tell I'm a little bit out of breath, just pumped up the wing. We have a beautiful day here in Cabaret, Dominican Republic. But basically, a lot of guys, once you get into wingfoiling and you're ready riding out, you're riding in, you're having fun, there is some new skills that you're gonna want to develop so that you sort of have always a smooth riding experience. And one of those is doing transitions, jibing. When you mention jibes, there's a lot of people who think of two different ways of jibing. There's one where you're going into the wind, and there's one that you're going down with the wind. So basically today, what we're gonna be talking about is the jibe, which we're gonna be going down with the wind. So, what's important when we're getting into jibing is first being comfortable with our general riding level. The right time to start practicing this maneuver, this transition, would be once you're able to go out and come back where you started. If you're able to do that, then you're pretty much set to start doing jibes. There's no real time that is perfect to start learning it because you're gonna start crashing at some point in time and you're gonna have to learn this skill, which can be learned essentially at any moment. So if you're comfortable with the wing, you've maybe seen other videos that we've done about how to get comfortable with the wing. But once you're comfortable with the wing, when you're gonna wanna learn how to do jibes, here on the beach, we can already do one practice, which is simple. So first off, it's being comfortable just holding the wing at the neutral handle. This is gonna help because as you're gonna see in one part of the jibe, you could use this handle or you can use the front handle to sort of help you with the transition. And you're gonna see what I mean in a moment. So being comfortable just holding the wing here, regardless of the hand, is gonna be key. And also transitioning. So passing it from one hand to the other, and then re-engaging the wing, keeping it stable. Same with passing it from one hand to the other, re-engaging the wing, and keeping it stable. Once you're comfortable with that, just passing the wing from hand to hand, then you're gonna be able to start thinking about the next steps, which is gonna be riding with the wing, and letting go of the backhand and keeping the wing above your head almost. It's gonna drift, it's gonna move around, but riding with the wing powered up and then letting go of your backhand simply. The wing itself is gonna be moving around, and that's why I mentioned that you're gonna wanna be comfortable with being able to control or steer the wing, whether at the neutral handle or at the front handle or the front part of your boom, depending on what you're using. But being comfortable like this is gonna be key, and going from one side to the other. When we're gonna be jibing, and you're gonna see it in the video, what we're gonna be doing is getting as much speed as we can, riding regularly, and then we're gonna start practicing what we call the S maneuver. So when we're gonna be on the water, we're gonna be riding. I'll show you guys the video this way. So we're gonna be riding, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna drift down with the wind, pulling on our backhand, having the wing sheeted in, and then we're gonna re-engage the wing and go up into the wind. And doing this S maneuver, which is gonna look something like this when we're on the water. Once we get comfortable with doing this S maneuver, which is essentially losing our edge, right? So we're riding, we're edging, and then we lose our edge, we go down, and then we catch our edge again, and we accelerate back up. Once we're comfortable doing that, we're gonna be evolving our S turns to be more and more aggressive, in the sense that we're gonna be going a lot more down with the wind, and then a lot more back up, a lot more down with the wind, a lot more back up. And this exercise, ideally what we're trying to do is replicate the sensation of doing the turn, of doing the jibe downwind. And essentially we're breaking this whole exercise down into baby steps so that it's manageable. Because a lot of people think, I just need to jibe and do it right away. But actually there's some building block exercises that you can do which are gonna help you get the jibe down. So once we're comfortable going up and down, feeling that acceleration once we go back up, eventually what we're gonna wanna be doing is we're gonna be wanting to go so much downwind that we're almost fully downwind. And when we're fully downwind, essentially, that is gonna be one of the parts of us actually completing this jibe. And then with the fact of letting go of the back handle, or of your backhand, and having the wing floating above your head, and being stable in this position, is gonna be part of what's gonna help complete the whole jibe. So essentially what it's gonna look like eventually is that you're gonna be riding, you're gonna go downwind, following the wing, At one point, you're gonna let go of the wing. You're gonna switch your hands, which is the exercise you already practiced here on the beach. And then from here, you're gonna be toe-sided, riding back out or riding back in, depending what direction you do the jibe. And this is why what we're trying to do is break it down into steps. So as we mentioned, we're comfortable doing the S turns. We ride upwind, we go down, remembering that once we pull up, we're gonna be accelerating. And this is something that you're gonna see in the video of how to capture that, but essentially you're capturing it in your knees and in your legs. Then, once we do this, we gotta be comfortable with switching our hands above our head and keeping the wing neutral. So switching our hands, boom. And now what you might be asking is, all right, I did my turn, I'm toe-sided, I'm riding out, what the heck do I do now? So once you're in this position toe-side, it's gonna be a little bit weird, but you're gonna wanna be lowered down a little bit, keeping your wing up high. You're gonna wanna be lowered down so that you can sort of capture the unique feeling of being in this toe-side position. For a lot of people, it's not natural, whatever way you do it, whether it's this way coming in, or whether it's this way going out. It's sometimes not a natural feeling. So now, basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to break this up into steps which are manageable. And from us going to toe side, if we can hold this for a little bit, we at least completed our jibe, our transition. Now we're gonna have one of two decisions. Stay in toe side, eventually turning back. How do you turn back? You pull down with your back hand, powering up the wing. Again, you let go of your front hand, and then you're gonna slide back and ride into the opposite direction. The other way we're gonna have is going from our toe side stance, pressing down on our front foot, and switching. The reason why we're pressing down on our front foot is to apply pressure to the foil so that it stabilizes it for about 2 or 3 seconds. And then from there, once we stabilize it, we switch at the same time. There you see I'm sort of lagging or I'm being a little bit slow when doing it, but when you're gonna do it on the water, you're gonna do it all in one motion. So yes, we could break this down into steps, thinking 1, 2, and 3, but the reality is it's all one motion. It's 1, 2, 3 when we're doing this. So what we wanna do, recapping. We get comfortable with the handles. We're gonna be starting to do our S turns, which is just keeping both hands on the wing, going up and down. We could do this, practice this both directions. Then from there, what we're gonna get comfortable doing is as we're doing our S turns, eventually we're gonna be letting go of our backhand and just letting the wing float. We're gonna ride with the speed of the foil for a little bit, and then we're gonna re-engage the back wing and continue in the same direction that we're doing. As we get more and more aggressive with our S turns, what we're gonna be doing is going almost to the point where our body is already in the toe side direction, feeling out that balance of the board, and then bringing it back. And once we start doing that, eventually what we're gonna do is actually complete the jibe. And when we complete the jibe, we're gonna pass the wing from one hand to the other. We're gonna be in our toe-sided position. We're gonna stay nice and low. And then we're gonna have the wing in the opposite hand, or in the opposite direction, opposite hands as well. And we're gonna be riding. And then here we'll have the decision. Either we press down on the front, we switch our feet, or we're gonna be riding and turning back around and riding upwind. So that's pretty much it, guys. The biggest part of all of this is doing the S turns. If you can do those S turns and you get a little more aggressive, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more aggressive with the S turns, going more and more down with the wind and almost completing the whole jibe, then from there, eventually you're gonna start completing the jibe. And what's important to get used to is your balance. So a lot of the times people ride very much on one side of the board. And when you start doing jibes, wave riding, whatever it is, you're actually gonna wanna have your front foot a little bit more centered on the board. So here I'll grab the board. We're gonna be doing it here with this one, with this exact board you see in the video. It's 110 liters. But basically, when we're riding and we're doing transitions, we don't wanna have both of our feet here. We wanna have one foot more in the center so we can apply pressure on the front and we can apply pressure on the back, right? If both of our feet are here and we gotta move the board in this direction, let's say downwind from us, or just do a turn, but all of our weight is on one side of the foil, one side of the board, we're not gonna be able to transition it to the direction we want. So that's why you wanna have your your feet a little bit in the middle, your front foot especially, so that you can help using your toes or your heels to move the board in one way or the other. And that's one of the main differences once you start doing jibes or transitions or riding waves, that you're gonna have to consider your foot positioning, which is going back to footwork, when foiling. So in any case, guys, what we're gonna be doing here is we're gonna be getting out on the water. We're doing this with a beginner setup, 1800 front wing, 85 mast. We got our 110 liter board, and you're gonna see that it's possible with this, because sometimes people say, it's a smaller board, it's a lot easier to maneuver or to do. You could do a jibe on any single board, whether downwind, whether upwind, and there's different people that have different terms for what this is, but let's just say doing a transition. To do the transition, you can do it on any equipment, and as long as you sort of build your way up, sure, you're gonna have some falls. You might do the common mistakes of falling forward, which is letting the wing pull you over, and the other mistake is that when you bring the wing to you, whenever you're switching your hands, is that some people, instead of bringing the wing to them and grabbing it, what they're trying to do is leaning over, and then they lean and then they fall. So that's why what's important is that you want to be comfortable first with bringing the wing wherever, riding it one hand, holding at the neutral handle. This is not too useful when you're doing the full-on jibes. In the beginning stages, this is more down the line for wave riding technique. But being comfortable with either way is going to be key, and switching the wing hand to hand, or whether you're doing a transition like this, or whether you're doing it like this, right? So whatever you might be doing. Also, if you grab the wing for some reason with your back, with your arm in a reverse grip, you can also switch it back. So whatever it is, just being comfortable with the wing. You could do a lot of these exercises right here on the beach. Like I said, controlling it, bang, turning around, and you're going. And then also switching your feet. So you could either get in the habit of switching your feet. We're gonna show you that in this video, but we could also go a little bit more in depth in a future video about that. But essentially what we're doing is we're pressing on the front of the board. We're putting all our weight there, so we stabilize the foil. We're sort of accelerating it. And then that's gonna give us that 2 to 3 seconds stability where we're gonna have time to switch our feet whichever way we're going. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope this video helps you out, get your first jibes, your first tacks, and you're gonna be seeing a lot of the footage, which is gonna show you essentially what we practice right here on the beach, that you can now practice it out there in the water. And I always recommend that practicing any new tricks that you're trying to do or something you're trying to work out in your mind, right here on the beach is the best spot. Take a few minutes to do it and then get out on the water and apply it. But for sure, the most important thing is trying it. And a nice challenge to you, and I'll challenge you right now in this video, is that if you're trying to learn the tacks, you're trying to learn the jibes, then make it a mission of yours that every single turn you do, every single transition you do, you try to do the tack, you try to do the jibe, because that's what's gonna help you develop. And sure, you might fall, but eventually you might get tired of falling and you're gonna learn, or eventually you're just gonna learn, because we're all here to progress and get better every single day. And getting a transition down, whichever transition it is, in this case, we're just doing a downwind jibe, then that's gonna help you spend more time on the water, save energy, because it's a lot easier to stay on foil, do the jibe, turn around, transition, ride back out, than it is to actually stop, get in the water, flip your wing, or move your board around, do all these things. So it's just better and more efficient to learn how to properly jibe and essentially turn whichever way you decide to turn. And there's so many different unique ways. You see all the guys riding that there's no right or wrong way of doing a transition. And it's just good to get in the habit of doing transitions because it's gonna save you time, energy, and effort. So all right, guys, this is Charles Osterlin with the IWO, and I hope that this video helped you out. If you have any special requests, make sure you leave it in the comment section below, wherever you're seeing this video, and we're gonna try to get to it. This was a request from the community, as some of our videos are aimed towards the full-on beginner, but now this is a beginner intermediate skill that is good to learn because it's gonna just help you have more fun and more time on the water, essentially, without losing energy. So all right, guys, this is it. I'm gonna leave you with a view of Cabarete, where we are right now, and I hope that wherever you are, there's wind, sunshine, even if there's rain and wind, I just hope you're getting out there and practicing. And remember, practice here on the beach, and then practice out there in the water, and that's gonna help you progress a lot quicker. And yeah, enjoy, guys. Have a good one. I'll leave you with it.